So I get a lot of founders come to me trying to find money to start up a business. And I tell all of them, you're much better off buying a business. It's going to give you a head start.
This is Dave McFarland, an investor, advisor, and innovator. He helps small business owners and startup founders grow their businesses, improve operations, and uncover new profit opportunities, all while creating more freedom and balance in their lives.
Let's say you're a medical device maker. You have this electronic medical device you've come up with, and now you have to get it built. You could get a lot of money and give away a lot of your equity and go out and build a new facility. Or perhaps, and honestly, in a lot of ways, it's easier to get money to buy a business than it is to get money to fund a business.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Van Ornum back with another episode of Scaling Up Success powered by Cynergists. Today, I have Dave McFarland of Focus Opex. Dave, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you?
I am fantastic, and I'm super excited to be able to talk to you a little bit about what you got going on and what you've been building out. So let's just jump into it, shall we?
Sure.
All right. So, well, tell us a little bit about Focus Opex.
Yeah, so Focus Opex is my consulting company. I've been consulting for about a dozen years, and I mainly focus on small manufacturers, privately held companies. And basically what I do is I help them solve problems and grow their business. I really focus on operations on the factory floor, and then I go from there.
Okay. So if you're looking at like people that you work with, what would be like that, I guess, quote unquote, avatar of the people that are your people that you work with currently?
Yeah, so it's mainly, owner operators. A lot of times they're what I would call accidental business owners, right? So they're people that worked with their hands or they had a skill and they turned that into a company. So think welders, machinists, maybe even engineers that, have a service. And they're like, oh, I could sell this service on my own. And then they just build a business out of that.
So what challenges do you see with when people take on businesses like that? Do you see that there are certain things that maybe that they're struggling with the growth of the business? Go more in depth into that piece of it.
Yeah, and I will leverage that book you have behind you, Buy Back Your Time. I recommend that book to a lot of people. I think one of the main things that I see that folks like to struggle with is they're so self-reliant and they're so good at solving problems, they feel they have to do everything themselves. And so they really paint themselves into a corner, and really, the business ends up owning them because they spend so much time doing it. And they're really good at what they do, right? So maybe they're really good machinists, but maybe they really shouldn't be doing their books, right? Maybe they really shouldn't be doing the ordering. And so I think that's one of the main things I see is that they really struggle to get out of their own way, and they really have trouble giving up some of those activities. And they really should if they want to grow and scale.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's a really good machinist, but like, man, they absolutely suck at ordering or bookkeeping, like you said, man, what they've done is basically just rewrote their job description into something that they're awful at.
And that they hate.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you help people in those regards?
Well, it really depends on the purpose. I can't help them if they don't want to be helped. So that's really the first thing is sometimes I'm a little bit of a coach or even a therapist to try to get them to understand they have to not do more, they have to do different.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I really try to impress upon them. And so sometimes that's difficult and they bristle because, well, Dave, I've been doing it this way for 20 years. Why are you coming in saying I have to do things differently? And sometimes that's a tough conversation to have, but it's really important because they kind of get stuck, right? So I see, companies, an individual and maybe just one or two other people, they can grow a business to 2 to 4 million in revenue pretty easy. Mm-hmm. But getting above that, it's hard. And they think they can get above it by just doing more. And you can't. You really have to do something different. You have to put systems and processes into place so that someone else can do some of the stuff that you're doing right now.
Man, you were kind of like the bartender without the good stuff, aren't you? No, I love what you're doing, man, because what it does is actually helps people understand how to take it from, like get yourself out of your own way, like, and once people start to buy into that, and it's not even buying in, it's like understanding, like, here's the next piece of evolution of my growth. Would you agree on that piece?
Yeah, yeah, and that's partly why I do recommend books, because a lot of times what I'll do is I say, you know what, here, I could preach to you, but what I want you to do is to listen to this guy, right? He wrote a book and he sold a bunch of them. He's pretty credible. Read that book and then let's talk.
Isn't that funny? Because it's like I used to coach college sports. I coached college volleyball way in a different lifetime ago. And what I found is, like, I could be saying something as the assistant coach, and the head coach would say it for months and months and months. And then all of a sudden, just because myself or another assistant coach may have said it just in a different manner, it's just a slightly different voice, all of a sudden that player clicked, and it just, so that's really fascinating, that just using a different piece of modality or different voice, a different connection to somebody may have them click exactly what you're looking to, for them to take that to that next level. So very cool, very cool.
Yeah, I found one little phrase that has helped me change this mindset a little bit is I've told people, there's an old saying that you can't read the label from inside the jar. And so I've had that, a couple of people just like their eyes open and it just clicked with them, and they understood the value of that outside perspective. And they really realized that, oh, you're right. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm stuck in here and run around bouncing off the walls all the time. And so that analogy really resonates with people.
I love that. I love that. So now you've been doing this for a minute or two now in the consulting space. What are you most proud about since you've been building this business up?
I think what I'm most proud about is that when people come back and tell me that I really helped in some way, and sometimes it's not obvious at the time. So I'll give you a good example. I had a client a number of years ago. Well, for all intents and purposes, I considered it a failure because we didn't get the improvement that I wanted us to get. And I had someone come back to me, and this was, oh my goodness, it was at least 5 years after I left there. And they said, hey, Dave, I just wanted to let you know, we're doing this at our company now, and these things are going great because of all that stuff you taught us. And I was like, but you didn't do any of it. And they're like, well, we know we didn't do it then, but we ran into some problems and we started doing some of the things that you said, and they were really successful. So thank you for that. And that just two things. It was kind of wowed me that they tried it so much later, but it was gratifying to know that I did move the needle.
Man, that's some quality stuff right there. And then the other thing that it makes me think of too, is like, when you're kind of like raising kids, and like you talk to your kid till you're blue in the face, and then they go off to college, or they go into high school or whatever level that they level up to, and then all of a sudden it starts clicking with them. They're like, oh, I should have listened to dad about that. It's kind of similar in that.
And it's funny, I've had that happen a number of times in my career, even before I was a consultant. I used to, I'm a degreed biologist. So way back when I worked in the science environment, it was the same thing. I'd have people come back 3 years afterwards and say, hey, Dave, remember when you told me that? Yeah, I do. Well, that was awesome. And it transformed the way I did things. I was like, oh, well, that's cool. But at the time, I didn't even know it.
Right. No, and that's, I love, and that's like the gratifying piece about this is like, you can come back years later to somebody and you're like, man, thank you for that. Like it's like delayed gratification, but still pretty cool. So,
and the funny thing is, it's not always what you would expect it to be. That's what's funny. It's like, it's some little thing. You're like, oh, I didn't think that would have that much of an impact, but it did. And yeah, it's great.
Well, let's switch gears, but still talk a little bit about unexpected opportunities. So one of the things that you just kind of said is like, you have these unexpected, like feel good moments, but like, as you've gotten into consulting, has there been unexpected opportunities that doors open up because of the career genre that you're in now? Like maybe it's a conversation that happened and it's like it opened up into something else. Tell me something along those lines.
Yeah, it happens a lot. And so I think that happened because of my mindset shift. So when I first started consulting, I decided I was this and I was going to do this. And if people said they wanted something outside of that, I'd say, no, I'm this, and this is what I'm going to do. So part of it is because I've been a little bit more of an opportunist. Mm-hmm. And so now consulting opportunities come along that aren't really what I say I do or advertise that I do. But I was like, yeah, I can do that. And they need the help. So I will. I'll give you a specific example. I'm in conversations right now with two people that want to buy a business, right? And they said, Dave, we worked for this business. The owners sell it. We want to buy the business, but we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to get funding. We don't know how to make an offer. We don't know any of this. Can you help us? And I'm like, well, yeah, I think I can. And so that's turned into a consulting opportunity that, like I said, that's not my core business, but it's a skill that I have that I can share with people. And so now I'm very open to doing things like that. So that's one example. And then another thing I'm doing right now is I'm working on a healthcare startup of all things. And the reason I'm doing it is because I have the network that would allow me to access those people. So there's no reason for me not to do something like that.
I kind of love that. And I'm kind of like the blue collar kind of gritty. I came from the military side of stuff, and it's like the hold my beer mentality. You know what? Let me figure that out. I can make that happen for you. And I love that, man, because like it just kind of shows like, you're not just gonna like pigeonhole yourself into one area, that there's so many opportunities out there. Why not? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I really believe that the most value I bring to clients now is my network. So that's kind of a hard thing to sell. Oh, you should hire me because I know people. But honestly, that's really the most value I bring, because I really truly believe whatever problem that we run into in a business, I can help them solve that. Not because of what I know, but because of who I know.
And one of the analogies that pops in my head with that is like your net worth is your network.
Yeah.
So kind of switching a little bit here, like what you've been doing and being able to stay ahead of stuff, it goes kind of into that with like your network of people, but like, what's your strategies to stay ahead of like industry trends and what you've been seeing over the last, like decade or two?
Yeah. So again, it really does start with my network. I do a lot of networking and I talk to a lot of people, especially folks in the tech space. So I actually just started, I'm on the advisory board of a tech startup. And so that kind of helps keep me in the mix. I know a lot of AI experts, so that, there's a lot of stuff going on with AI now. There's industry, what are we on? Industry 3.0, 4.0. I don't remember which one we're on now, but that kind of stuff. And so I do kind of stay on top of that, especially this is really important for small business owners, not just in manufacturing, but in any type of service industry. Technology can help you, right? So I have a great example of a lawn service company where they're like, technology, why do we need technology? Well, they had somebody that knew tech come in and did an analysis, and they found out, well, the owner, you're spending 80% of your time just answering phone calls or calling people back, 80% of his time. And the reason is because he was taking a lot of calls he shouldn't be taking, right? So they put a tech solution in place. They had some AI in it. And basically, a lot of the questions could be answered by the AI chatbot. And then the other ones got either directed to other people that he didn't. So he only had to answer really about 10% of those calls. And that transformed his business.
Right. And it gives him back his time with
Absolutely.
So much of that stuff. What we do with Cynergists is very similar. We actually build those things out for people. So it's really cool to be able to see the growth. And like a lot of people get worried about what may be coming instead of like embracing what opportunities may be coming their way.
Yep. Especially with AI, people are waiting for something. Don't wait. It's pretty good right now. It's only going to get a lot better. and it's changing so fast. Whatever you wait for, by the time that you think that's cool, there's already something better. So you need to embrace it now.
And the thing that I keep telling people is like, it's not like Terminator 2 Skynet kind of stuff. So, it's more functionality, and it's based to be able to help create better productivity for you. So totally on board, on the same page as that. So do you feel like nowadays that there are unique set of challenges that are different than days gone by for business owners when they're starting a business right now?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things. So I know right now everybody's talking about tariffs, right? If you're in manufacturing, that's impacting you one way or another. So yeah, that's it's kind of happened in the past, but not to the level it's happening now. So I think for a lot of manufacturers that's something they didn't have to deal with before. And then I'm back to tech, right? So there's never been a time where tech applied the way it does now, and it can really change things. So especially requirements around tech, I think a lot of people don't understand that. So let's say you're a small manufacturer and you want to do government work. Well, do you know that there's a cybersecurity law that you have to pay attention to, right? And so that's a tech issue that they haven't had to deal with before. So I think you can't avoid it. So I'm not telling you, Mr. Manufacturer, that you have to get rid of your 50-year-old equipment out there that's still working. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there are other tech solutions in your front office and back office that can really improve your operations, and you should embrace that.
100%. I love that. So as we kind of get closer to wrapping this up for you, so like, what's one piece of advice if you could give somebody that is looking to start a business or buy a business? I mean, the thing that I've kind of heard lately is like, maybe it's not even that you want to start your own business, that you could potentially even buy a business and not have to put too much money into it. Is that something that's out there right now?
Yeah. So I get a lot of founders come to me, trying to find money to start up a business. And I tell all of them, especially if they're a manufacturer, they're building a widget, you're much better off buying a business. It's going to give you a head start. So let's say you're a medical device maker. You have this electronic medical device that you've come up with, right? And now you have to get it built. Okay, well, you could get a lot of money and give away a lot of your equity and go out and build a new facility. Or perhaps you could find a small manufacturer that has all the skills you need to build your widget, right? So that leaps you ahead. Plus, you're buying an asset instead of giving away equity. And honestly, in a lot of ways, it's easier to get money to buy a business than it is to get money to fund a business. So I think that's a perfectly viable way to go forward.
Love that, man. Love that. So as you've kind of built your business in the, over your career, how would you summarize that journey for yourself in like a sentence or two, man?
Yeah, so it's I've looked at the opportunities and taken what was given to me. So I wasn't, like I said, I changed from being this pigeonholed thing and trying to do what other people do. Instead, I looked at the opportunities presented and said, okay, which one of those can I really go after? How can I serve those clients and monetize that? So I think being flexible has really helped me in that regard.
I love that. Is there anything coming down the pipe that you're really excited about that you want to share?
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to acquire my own business, so I have a few conversations going on there that I can't really tell you too much about. But that's kind of exciting to me.
You may either have to kill me or sue me until I submit, right? I love it, man. Very cool. So if people are interested in knowing more about Focus Opex and yourself, how can they get a hold of you, man?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way to find me. So all my contact information is on there. You can even access my calendar on LinkedIn. My email address, my phone number is all there. And then also my website, focusopex.com. It also has ways that you can contact me. And then I have a bunch of blogs on there that you can kind of dig into my brain a little bit and see how I think by reviewing those blogs.
Dave, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us a little bit and giving us a better focus on exactly how you help manufacturing companies succeed in today's, crazy crazy work environment and the economy that's going out there right now, man. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Absolutely. Once again, Dave McFarland, Focus Opex, and I'm Ryan Van Ornum with Scaling Up Success, powered by Cynergists. Have a great one, everybody.